Hello, this is Maggie again, and we are going to explore coincident partials of major thirds and minor thirds. Do not forget that the ratio of an interval is also the first coincident partial. So if I start with the F to A major third, let's listen to this whole sound. Now let's compare that with this coincident partial here. I'm going to make those quiet here. We're going to activate it. Can you hear that's the same beat rate? I'm going to play it again. Now listen to the whole sound again. Now let's count up to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the ratio is 5 to 4. If I were to tune this major third pure, I would have a 5-4 major third. The ratio is still 5-4, and we still have a coincident partial at 5-4 that beats. And we use that beat rate to tune. But major thirds are not tuned even close to pure in equal temperament. They are tuned to beat, and they are wide. So I don't have to detune this for us to hear beats in the coincident partial. I'm going to go up a little bit higher. Let's go up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're going to go from 9 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There is a coincident partial at 9 and 7. And this is very hard to activate. I'm going to try, and it's going to be ridiculously fast. Here I go. It's really, really, really fast. I'm not sure if you can hear that. I'm going to do an experiment really quick. I'm going to slow this down a little bit and see if that clears this up at all. I don't know yet. A little bit. Not much. It's very hard to hear up here. Very hard to hear. They're very quiet. Another thing we can do is we can go down low and activate these from coincident partials from a lower note. A F1 has this as a coincident partial, and it also has A as a coincident partial. So if I hold these down quietly and activate F1, can you hear that beat rate? Listen closely. Compare that to the original sound. It's the same. So compare that original sound to this one. Compare that beat rate to this one. They're the same. So we're activating coincident partials. The coincident partials of this that are up higher can be activated by this lower note. So we're not actually, well, we are activating these two notes with this lower note, but then the coincident partials of these are beating. This lower F activates all of them up higher. So not just these, it activates a whole bunch. And we can hear it. Now let's look at a minor third. Let's count up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's the other note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have a coincident partial at 6 and 5, and that is also the ratio of our interval. That's the first coincident partial. Let's listen to it. It's very nice and clear. Listen again. Now I'm going to play the whole sound. Now if you'll notice, at least live, I'm not sure how it's going to come through on the microphone, this whole sound isn't quite as clear as this coincident partial. I'm going to explain why I think that is. If we go to the next coincident partial, it's here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have a 7/6 coincident partial here. It's very high up. It doesn't sound like much, but let's try to activate it. It's there. It's just very quiet. Now I'm going to activate this one again. This one's a little faster. So we have two coincident partials that are very close together. That gives this a slightly muddy quality because they're very close, they're beating slightly differently. It's a little bit harder to hear. Everyone thinks minor thirds are too fast to hear. Fast is not the problem. Listen to this. This is a major third. Major third. Compare this beat. Now this is not an in-tune piano, so don't take these major thirds as being right or wrong right now. This is not in tune. I'm just comparing some faster and slower beat rates. Compare that to this. This is a hair faster, but it's easier to hear. This is not faster. It's just a little more muddy. So don't think minor thirds are too fast to use. They're not too fast. They're a little more challenging, but they're extremely useful. And they're very important with some tests or checks, whichever you'd prefer to call them. And I will get to that in another video. So listen to that again. Listen to the whole sound. And then listen again to the beat rate. Now I can activate this from below also. This is all called ghosting again, by the way. I can activate also the partials up here by activating a lower note. And the one that gives me the best sound here is the one that lines up with this. And all the partials from these get activated up here. I'm going to activate A flat 0. Can you hear that beat rate? One more time. Now compare that to this beat rate. Listen again. I'm going to go back and forth. And then, so that lower note is activating this coincident partial. Sometimes the lower notes are useful, particularly when you're working at the top end of the piano, and when you're working at the bottom end of the piano, you don't have them, so you have to use the upper notes to ghost. I hope this demonstration helps you understand more about coincident partials and isolating them out and listening to them. We are going to talk about sixth next, and I will eventually demonstrate how to use them, but right now I still just want to get the concepts across. If you have any questions or suggestions, please email me at maggie@thebutlerschool.org, or you can comment below. Thanks.